This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News, and today I'm with Joanna Read, who is the Director and Chief Executive of the Ivanano Theatre. News that the theatre has received a small grant to purchase specialist cleaning equipment for the building prompted us to interview Joanna and to find out what is going on during this second extensive lockdown at the theatre. Joanna, welcome back to the Guildford Dragon News.
Thank you, nice to be with you.
So you've received this grant from the Theatres Trust. How is it going to help?
Well, it will help us with our preparations to when we reopen the building to be COVID secure. We have been given funds to purchase 2 fogging machines, which are able to sort of antibacterial all of the public and front of house and backstage areas. So they cover everything with a fine mist of antibacterial spray, and it kills the COVID virus and keeps the area secure for 2 weeks. So it's a very good way of making sure our spaces are safe. Okay,
good. So now, generally, do you remain optimistic about the theatre's future still, given the...
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Do. I mean...
Sorry, carry on, please.
It's been a very challenging year, and we expect that the year we're going into, the new financial year, will be even more challenging for the theatre. But we have taken a lot of steps last year to make sure that we preserved and ring-fenced the theatre. We're trying to play a long game to make sure we're here for the long term. So next year will be challenging, but I am confident because, you know, we're very much a well-loved and well-supported venue, and we're very committed to the success of the theatre, that although we might have a couple of hard years ahead, we will come through this and we'll prosper, yeah.
Okay, so tell us what's been happening behind the scenes during the last year. What kind of activity has been going on? Obviously lots of planning, but has there been things on the practical level too?
Well, we've been open whenever we can be open. So as well as cancelling work, we've also been programming work. In the summer, we were able, in that brief window between lockdowns, to put concerts on in the garden. So we worked with Guildford Jazz and other musicians to present work in the garden, which was a new thing for us. And we're going to repeat that this summer coming as well, and hopefully increase the capacity there. We did manage to put a Christmas production on. So we put Snow Queen on, much smaller scale work than our normal pantomime, but we played that for 9 performances before I think all of the country got put into tier 4. We had theatrical digs in the autumn with David Penelope Keith and Chris Luscombe and a host of Guildford and Somano Friends. We had Dilly Keane coming. So we've been able to do bits and pieces quite last minute, very much working with people we know who already have an association or relationship with the festival, with the theatre. And of course, we worked with the book festival last year as well. We were really pleased to be able to host them because they didn't have a venue through COVID, and we were able to support them. And that was very, very good partnership with both of us.
So actually a lot of activity, and of course you had a royal visit as well. Tell us about that.
We did. His Royal Highness Prince Edward came to visit in the summer when we were closed. He really came to meet staff and to sort of throw a light on the I suppose the challenges that venues like the Arno were facing and still are facing. And he was talking to staff about, you know, how we'd handled the cancellations, how we were coping with an empty building, because obviously that can deteriorate. It was really cheering to have his support and for him to sort of bring that profile to the theatre. And he met some again, Somano Friends. He met with Dame Penny and Patricia Hodge came down, and they talked about the challenges that the industry was facing.
Because he has a bit of a background in the theatre and drama, so I suppose he brings an understanding with him to the issues.
He does. He was really passionately engaged and interested in the process and in understanding the challenges that the whole of the industry are going through on a personal level and on a professional level. And it was a very positive experience for all of us.
Okay, now the Ivanano has of course always been reliant on grants to some extent, and the withdrawal of the Arts Council grant some years ago was a major blow. How important is the grant you get from Guildford Borough Council? I mean, it's known that they have immense budgetary challenges at the moment. Do you expect their yearly grant of £300,000 to continue?
I think if we're putting it in a wider context, everything is challenging at the moment. I think there's very few areas of our lives that aren't being challenged by the pandemic. And it's important to recognise and to know that the theatre is a charity, that we have to run as a business, but we are a charitable concern, and any money that we make from our box office obviously goes straight back into supporting the organisation. Since we lost the Arts Council's grant, gosh, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, the theatre has been very proficient and effective at making sure it makes the best of its resources. And the funding support we receive from Guildford Borough Council is absolutely vital to the theatre's continuation as a going concern. If we hadn't been funded by Guildford Borough Council, we wouldn't have been able to have applied to the Arts Council funding for the cultural recovery funds, which this year we had a grant of 35,000 from their emergency fund, and then we got 248,000 from the cultural recovery fund. Those two pieces of funding were absolutely a lifeline that bailed us out this year in the year we just finished. And we would not have been able to apply for those funds if we hadn't been supported by Guildford Borough Council. So that money is critical to us. I think it's really important that the theatre makes full value of the funding. And I think there's lots we can do for Guildford and to work with the council to make sure that we are furthering the aims and objectives and the things that the people of Guildford think are important. I mean, arts activity, engagement in arts and theatre, going to a gallery, all of those things are absolutely vital to people's mental health and their well-being. And we are coming through a very difficult time where people have been isolated, lonely, vulnerable. They haven't been able to gather in groups, to meet their friends and to join together in shared activities. And theatre is a shared activity. It's not just coming to see the play, it's coming into our foyer, it's having a cup of coffee, it's chatting to our box office staff, it's coming into an animated and a welcoming building. You know, in a sense, arts activity is the glue that holds a society together. So although it's very easy to look at things in kind of black and white, you know, roads are important, hospitals are important, art's less important. Actually, if you want a well-rounded and socially cohesive society, and if you want your town to prosper and to thrive, arts play a very vital role in delivering some of that activity and contributing to all of our well-being.
Well, you make a powerful case there, Joanna, and let's be optimistic now and look forward. What's your best current guess for when the doors will be open again, and what safety restrictions are likely to be in place?
So we are using the roadmap that the government outlined, I think with the 17th of May being the earliest date that socially distanced indoor work would be allowed. We're being more cautious than that. So I am looking at June as a potential earliest opening date for us. June to mid-June. It's quite difficult at the moment in these next couple of weeks to see quite where in the month that will land. And obviously we need to wait until the schools have been back a couple of weeks and until we reach the 29th of March to see how things are playing out. But I would hope that we are able to do indoor work socially distanced in June. We have events planned in the garden in the summer. So we're bringing back a couple of the musicians who played in the garden in the summer. So Jacob and Drinkwater are coming back. We're working again with Guildford Jazz. We have a new group coming in, the India Electric Company. And we're planning to put some work for families and children as well in the main stage in August, because we think that if people aren't able to go away for the holidays, then they're going to be looking for more activity, and we wanted to program more family work. So it's a great opportunity for us. I think there's going to be a lot of parents and carers wanting to find activities for children and young people. And that's something, again, we can offer as well. So we're quite confident about the July-August period.
Right. So are you anticipating that the audience will be socially distanced, or is it impossible to put shows on economically viable with that restriction?
It's difficult to put shows on with social distancing, but we have done it. So we have done it successfully for one-nighters and smaller events. It's difficult to put something on the scale of pantomime, where you have at any point 15 to 20 people on stage plus a crew of 12, and the large production values that we bring to our pantomime. Those works which are more costly, where you need to run the production for longer to recoup your costs, they are much more difficult socially distanced. That's why the West End really hasn't reopened. So if we have to work socially distanced, I think you'll see some smaller pieces of work, some two-handers, still good work, still exciting, and hopefully very entertaining, because what we need now is good stuff to engage with. We want, you know, fun and laughter, I
We
think.
need our spirits lifted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, now you've said that there's going to be an eclectic and entertaining mix of live performance when you do reopen. Can you give any exclusive clues to our Dragon readers? Some famous names, perhaps?
So we are hoping to announce on Monday a new production coming to us from Original Theatre Company, which is A Splinter of Ice. And that has the actors Oliver Ford Davis and Stephen Boxer. And they are playing Graham Greene, the author, the novelist, and Kim Philby, Britain's greatest ever spy, is how they're currently billing Philby. It's a sort of a thriller, two to three-hander, I think, on a meeting between Graham Greene and Kim Philby after he had been exposed and defected to Moscow. Good, interesting, good piece of work.
Okay, well, that certainly sounds interesting to me. Anyway, I just want to say good luck to all your plans, because I'm sure there's lots of people in Guildford that are really looking forward to the reopening of the Ivanano. Thank you very much for giving your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Very welcome. Thank you.